Erik ten Hag. Obviously, he's under massive pressure. Apparently, he's had the backing of the ownership after getting absolutely annihilated by Tottenham Hotspur at Old Trafford. Where do we rank Erik ten Hag's position right now?
Mate, can I just ask a question before we go any further and somebody can educate me? How on earth is he still in a job?
I don't know.
Like, how's he still got a job, mate?
I don't know.
Can you tell me? Can you?
I have no idea. And obviously, Manchester United fans will say that they was happy they won the FA Cup. But would they trade that FA Cup loss for getting rid of Ten Hag and progressing? No. I'm just asking.
No, they need both. They need both. They need to win the cup and Ten Hag falls on his sword.
Just hypothetically speaking.
No, mate, you can't. The cup is amazing, but he has to lose his job now. It's absolutely ridiculous. Even if you want to go, he won the cup and therefore it was right to give him the chance. No. You can rationalise that maybe. But this is crazy. Because do you know what that result was? You know, sometimes in football you get those moments like do you remember when Antonio Conte drew Tottenham team? Do you remember when Antonio Conte's Tottenham team drew 3-3 with Southampton?
Yes.
And then he went nuts. Yeah. You knew that day that it was over. It didn't matter whether he managed any more games. You just knew it was over. When Ole Gunnar Solskjaer lost at Vicarage Road, you knew it was over. Like, you get a result, and that result means that there is no way back for that manager.
But the thing is,
that result was Tottenham, man. That result, where it's no way back, was Tottenham.
He's had that result at least 3-4 times last season. He's had that result already against Tottenham. This man, he's got like 9 lives. He's a Dutch cat. I don't understand. He just keeps.
It's crazy. Yeah.
I don't know how he's still in the job.
Buvey, how's he still in the job, mate? Me and Miles can't work it out.
It's the classic case of if there's a lack of supply, then there's low demand. And obviously there's a lack of supply of world-class managers, so you can't go out there and bring them in. There's no one out there.
I don't think that's true. I actually don't think that's true. If nothing else, the 4 or 5 managers that we know Manchester United spoke to in the summer, De Zerbi, Frank, whoever else, McKenna, they're better than Ten Hag. De Zerbi's a better manager than Ten Hag, right?
Yeah, he's just taking a job in France. On a
Not
new
them,
contract.
though.
No, yeah, but we're not debating what happened in the summer.
Okay, but what about now? What about now, Tuchel?
Yeah, the thing with we're not talking about a neutral club as if it's almost Man City or someone with slightly different pedigree. Man United have very strange standards about what is the Man United way of playing, and Thomas Tuchel doesn't fit into this system. I don't know how Erik ten Hag ever got in there, because if he wasn't Dutch, in my opinion, I think the way he plays is bang average. They're not a possession-based side. And Enzo Maresca's a good example of what I think Man United thought they were going to get, or Arne Slot, for example. But I just don't see Thomas Tuchel there. Conte's gone. I mean, there's no one out there they can feasibly get who's world class. There isn't.
Let me ask you both a question. Do you think Manchester United are scared to pull the trigger because they've already put their manager in place, and I personally think he's sitting there on the coaching staff already? It's Van Nistelrooy. I think they've already set that up, knowing that this guy later on in the year we might sack him.
It can't be that, can it? Because that wouldn't be accepting to Ten Hag before a ball was kicked. It's so undermining.
But why would they bring it? But why would you bring in someone who's already managed? Someone who's a club legend. He's a good coach. Why would you bring in someone with that much stature?
So what, you think they brought him in almost ready for this moment?
100%. I 100% believe that.
How would that be tolerated by Ten Hag? Like, you know, if someone went...
But they took all the power from him. They said, we're going to buy players and all you have to do now is manage. So they took power away from him anyway.
That's true.
But the trouble is, they've bought his players, haven't they? They've bought players for him.
I think this summer is a big difference. The summer before is Anthony, which is an Ajax thing. But Ugart, for me, works a lot for a lot of managers. We can debate if he's good enough, of course. De Ligt works for a lot of managers.
Hang on, De Ligt has worked specifically with Ten Hag. De Ligt was signed for Ten Hag, right?
Yeah.
No, because I think also his age and Mazraoui's come in as well.
Hang on, Mazraoui, Ten Hag?
No.
They're not as specific Ten Hag signings as they previously were. These are signings that are far more versatile. I don't agree if they're going to work, by the way. I thought De Ligt was absolutely shocking. Xerxes, these are kind of players, exactly, shocking as well. Shocking. But these are not Ten Hag signings as much as they were previously. I think that's fair to say. But it's still a lot of money. 200 million quid they spent in the summer, and that goes right under the radar. I mean, Man United fans love talking about 115 and all these financial things.
Dude, do you know what Ten Hag's
load of money, mate.
Do you know Ten Hag's number? You're going to love this. Do you know what it is?
600, isn't it? 600 million quid.
600 M's. Look, we've spent that and we built a whole new squad and we're competing now.
Yeah, and you're competing. Exactly.
So they would argue, I don't agree, by the way, but they would argue silverware. They'd go 600 million, 2 trophies. You'd go
600 million, 1 trophy, and we're competing for the league. I'm in the Champions League. They would rather be in our position.
No, but this, yeah.
They would. Okay, scrap your Carling Cup. Take away your Carling Cup, Manchester United fans, and I'm not even trying to get onto them. Would you rather be in Arsenal's position?
Yeah.
Would you rather be in Arsenal's position right now or be where you are? Or you just take away a Carling Cup?
As much as they're terrible, they've still had a better 4 years than you.
They
But that's
haven't.
a different debate for a different video. They have. They've had 2 great days out in Wembley.
And we've had
they've
one.
won 2
We've had
cups.
an FA Cup and they've
Yeah,
had
that
a
was the
Carling
COVID Cup. No one was in the stadium.
Cup. So what?
But we're digressing from the point.
Liverpool was in the stadium when they won the league.
Ultimately,
take away
there
the-
is one guy that looks like he hasn't had a job for close to 16 months now. English manager, aligned to some of the higher ups at Manchester United in Graham Potter, and would certainly play a brand of football that is what we theoretically think could be a brand of football that Man United fans want.
If I was
Graham Potter,
I'll stay far away from that
I
Manchester
think that's
job.
such
right
a good
now.
point.
I would say
Really?
far away
I
from
think,
that
I think it's
Manchester
such a good
job.
point. The natural thing to do here is go, this is an amazing opportunity for Graham Potter.
Yeah.
And 90% of the time, that's how I argue football, isn't it? Circumstance, take the opportunity, take the job and hope for the best, because you never know if you're going to get the opportunity to manage arguably the biggest club in the world again. And Graham Potter needs that. However, he's already taken that punt at Chelsea. He's already...
oh, it's different.
Yeah, but he's already
different.
people are going to already have him down
different.
as a failure.
You have to take it.
The problem is...
Don't-
Guy-
you don't, Buvey,
you know,
man.
there are certain managers that Zidane. People, Man United fans always bang on about Zidane. This guy's achieved everything in the sport as a player and as a manager. His background is vastly different. Graham Potter came from managing university sides,
football.
managing exactly step football, and he's done very, very well to get where he is. If Man United came knocking, he'd be the biggest clown in world football if he didn't accept it straight away. He's come from nowhere.
Under every other circumstance than this exact one, I think you're
I agree with
completely
you.
spot on.
Yeah.
But Graham Potter's next job, for the furtherance of his career, has to go well.
Does it?
I think so, because
He could have a bad 12 months at Man United, gamble it could be way better, and he could still end up at West Ham.
does it not go a bit Lampard? Lampard didn't do well at Chelsea. I could argue that he did. You would argue that he didn't. He then went into Everton. Everton had to go well. Everton, as a club that has to go well, there's too much. It's
much riding on
too
it.
much.
Graham Potter's CV is far better than Lampard's as a manager.
Fine. The point stands. The point I'm making stands. We can break it down, but the point I'm trying to make isn't about do you think Graham Potter is a better manager than Lampard. It's about picking the right club for you at the right time. And Graham Potter picked Chelsea or Chelsea picked him and he went with it, when he would have been far better off with hindsight to stay at Brighton. His stock was rising at Brighton. His stock took a bit of a hit at Chelsea, but it's still okay because we can say Chelsea was a wild circumstance and he did very well at Brighton and he did very well at Ossusons. So let's see. One more job where it goes wrong and he gets sacked. Say he goes into Manchester United.
Yeah.
Everything that you've said about Manchester United's players not being good enough is true. He ends up getting a tin tack from Manchester United when they're 14th in the league.
He'd still get a Prem job after that, 1,000,000%. His CV's far good enough. He was linked to massive clubs in France this summer, massive clubs in England.
Yeah, but
1,000,000%.
Do you not think another sacking? So that would be Brighton. Brighton improve without him. Chelsea sack him. Man United sack him. Surely at some point his stock is going to take a hit here.
You'd see him at Forest. You see him back at Brighton, 1,000,000%.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. You think that level?
Yeah.
I think I just think he should stay away from that club.
But who else is going to... What top 6 club are ever going to have an opening? I think Ange's there for the rest of the season. Arsenal, obviously, are not going to get rid of Arteta. Man City, no. Chelsea,
do you
no,
put
obviously.
any stock in the theory that Sir Alex Ferguson spoke passionately about? Never choose your club, always choose your owners. Do you put any belief in that theory?
The owners are changing, aren't they?
But do you believe the theory?
Definitely.
If you do believe the theory, that would be 2 occasions where Potter will have not chosen the owners. He will have chosen the club. And that would have been Chelsea and Manchester United.
I think you're right about every football manager, but it's like Graham Potter's come from nowhere. I think
It's not even about that. But
Just for the record, by the way, I don't think that we live in a world where Graham Potter could ever turn down the opportunity. But Miles's point that his career could take such a hit, failing at... Like, he might have to go into the Championship.
Also, I don't.
But where do you think Lampard has to go now?
But that's why I brought up Lampard, is because Lampard hasn't got a resume anywhere near Graham Potter as a manager. Graham Potter is able to instill philosophy at lower level clubs and get them high up the table.
Just to argue it though, what Lampard did at Chelsea in his first season, off the back of the transfer ban, the Eden Hazard sale,
It was good man management.
what he did that season, taking effectively Chelsea's youth team. A 19-year-old Reece James, Tammy Abraham up front when he was a child, Mason Mount in the middle when he was a child. Taking Chelsea's youth team into the last 16 of the Champions League, the FA Cup final, and the top 4 is bigger than anything Graham Potter has ever done in management.
It's different. He's managed talent. He's managed world-class young talent. Graham Potter's instilled philosophies in clubs where there are no budget. What he did at Swansea, what he did at Brighton, Lampard could never do that. And I think clubs are looking at that. That's why Lampard's not been approached for a job like Manchester United, because he doesn't have a philosophical approach. I'm just observing what happens in modern football. Vincent Kompany got relegated with Burnley, and he goes to Bayern Munich. So clubs are looking at Graham Potter far more than Lampard because it's fashionable.
I think that Lampard's reputation took such a hit because the second time at Chelsea was one of the worst managerial records anyone has ever had. And Everton was a complete and utter disaster. They're the reasons, because at the time, Lampard had to negotiate no transfer window, no Eden Hazard, and managing Chelsea off
It was
the
great. The first season was great.
The reason why I think he shouldn't take the job is because it's all about Eddie Howe. He's good. He's in my point, so that's why he came into my mind. It's all about Graham Potter's aspirations. If he wants to try get this England job later on down the line, which I think he could do, because we all know he's got a good playing style and philosophy. Manchester United is a very, very, very tainted job to take at this present moment of time, because if you get it wrong and you get sacked, like Rory said, if you go to Chelsea, then go to Manchester United, and
how do you get it wrong? Define that, because you can't get it wrong. It's already wrong. You can't get it. You can only improve this Man United side. They came 8th last season.
No.
You can still get it wrong.
Mate, that's
you can get them playing better football.
Maresca could have got it wrong. Maresca can still get it wrong.
That's not true.
But
It can always get the. You know the theory when people go,
Graham Potter wouldn't make it worse. Graham Potter would not make it worse. I don't think he's the right solution, by the way.
He
but
might
I'm
not
just
make
saying.
it better though. He might not make it better.
I think we're completely underrating what it means to Graham Potter
Is
to
Graham
go
Potter a better manager than Ten Hag?
there.
Yeah.
But his track record isn't as good as Ten Hag's was when Ten Hag went into the job.
No, it's not at the moment. Of course not. He needs that big role. But I don't see any big club, and even in the top 10, Villa won't get rid of their manager.
Just for the
Newcastle
record,
United. Where's he going to go?
Man United aren't going to. Whoever they appoint next, and I believe that has to come soon.
Oh, they're crazy.
Whoever they appoint next, though, it's not going to be Graham Potter, is it?
No, I don't think it's going to be Graham Potter.
I can't believe they haven't sacked. How are we even talking? How
I don't
have
think
they
it's going to be Graham
sacked
Potter.
him?
And I
You know
hope
what
it's not
they've
Graham
done?
Potter
Do you
because
know
he's a good coach.
Do you know
I just
they've
honestly
given
don't think he
Ten
should go to
Hag
Manchester
another
United.
couple of games. They've said the game in Portugal and the game against Villa. They've given him those 2 games. Let's just pretend that he loses those 2 games. Does that mean they sack him?
Yeah.
And let's pretend that he wins those 2 games, though. Does that mean that they don't sack him?
Yeah.
They're so simplistic, aren't
Yeah,
they?
they're
it's in the
terrible.
balance.
So it has to be more complex than that. It can't be as simply
No, because it was
beat
against.
Porto and you can keep your job.
But you did it against Manchester City. You beat Manchester City. You keep your job. That's it.
Mate, I can't believe we're saying this, but Ineos was supposed to be different. Ineos was supposed to be not like the Glazers, not reactionary, more methodical. This is a Richard Arnold decision rather than a, isn't it?
Yeah, but this is just us speculating. He might have had that conversation with Ineos already and Ineos said, you know what, listen, regardless of the results, you're still going to keep your job. Just try get through this period right now. And
he'll go. They'll get banged week in, week out until he leaves. It'll be rude to the end of the season. Bit of a feel good factor. They'll hope there'll be some big managerial shake-ups in the summer. They can go and poach someone from Italy or Spain.